There are so many books this week that are on my anticipated reading list, and yes, I have not read the first books to some of these, but still, welcome to the new book releases for the week of January the 10th. I'm Morgan. If this is your first time here, we're going to have timestamps. I did it again. And I'm going to mispronounce things, say things weird, but hopefully you're still going to find a book that you love and want to go get. Let's go ahead and get started before I babble more. And yes, let's go. Starting off the week with some YA, our first one is a bit fantastical. This one is from the author of The Graceling. There is a Door in This Darkness by Kristen Cashore. Wilhelmina Hart is part of the infamous class of 2020. Her high school years began with a shocking presidential election and ended with a pandemic. Wilhelmina's personal darkness would be unbearable, especially with another monumental election looming, but for the inexplicable and seemingly magical clues that had begun to intrude on her life. Flashes of bizarre, ecstatic whimsy that seem to add up to a message she can't quite grasp. But something tells her that she should follow their lead. Maybe a trail of elephants, birds, angels, and stale donuts will lead Wilhelmina to a door. Then we have the second in the Stars and Smoke series, Icon and Inferno by Marie Lu. He's a secret, she's an agent. This mission might just be impossible. It's a smoldering enemies to lovers novel about a global superstar and a hotshot young spy on a collision course with danger and romance. A year's passed since the first book, where superstar Winter Young last saw secret agent Sydney Cossett. After barely surviving their first assignment together and their intense chemistry, the two haven't spoken at all. And now, though, they are on another mission. Our sci-fi for the week is going to be The Stardust Grail by Yumi Kitase. Oh, I'm pretty sure I said that wrong. Save one world, doom her own. Maya Hashimoto was once the best art thief in the galaxy. For 10 years, she returned stolen artifacts to alien civilizations until a disastrous job forced her into hiding. Now, she just wants to enjoy a quiet life as a graduate student of anthropology, but she is haunted by persistent and disturbing visions of the future. Then, an old friend comes to her with a job she can't refuse: find a powerful object that could save an alien species from extinction. No one has ever seen it in living memory, and they aren't the only ones hunting for it. We move now into our fantasies of the week. The first one up is going to be Moonbound by Robin Sloan. This one takes place in a world that the author's already created from his previous books. It starts with a P. It is 11,000 years from now. A lot has happened, and yet a lot is still very familiar. Ariel is a boy in a small town under a wizard's rule. Like many adventurers before him, Ariel is called to explore a world full of unimaginable glories and challenges, unknown enemies, a mission to save the world, and a girl. Here, as they say, be dragons. But none of this happens before Ariel comes across an artifact from an earlier civilization, a sentient, record-keeping artificial intelligence that carries with it the perspective of the whole of human history, and becomes both Ariel's greatest ally and the narrator of our story. It sounds like it might be fun. I don't know if we would have had to read his other works, though, to understand it. Then we have Running Close to the Wind by Alexandra Rowland. I'm going to mispronounce these names. And I have two covers to show you because one is cute, good, and then the other one is just very pretty. You'll have to tell me which one you think fits the description of this book most. Avara Havasi, former field agent to the Aristi Ministry of Intelligence, has accidentally stolen the single most expensive secret in the world, and the only place to flee with a secret this big is the open sea. To find a buyer with deep enough pockets, Avara must ask for help from his off-again, on-again ex-pirate captain Tavari Az-Hafar. They are far from happy to see him, but together they hatch a plan. Take the information to the isolated pirate republic of the Isles of Lost Souls, fence it, and profit. The only things in their way: a calculating new Aristi ambassador to the Isles of Lost Souls who's got his eyes on Avara's every move, Brother Julian. Then we have the second in the Soulfire saga, The Fire Within Them by Matthew Ward. The first book was The Darkness Before Them. It says, these are dark times for the kingdom of Khaled. The magical mists of the veil devour the land. The populace struggles beneath the rule of a ruthless noble houses and their uncaring immortal king. Kat's not a hero, she just wants to be free, to have her old life back. But as rebellion rekindles and the war for Khaled's future begins, everyone, Kat included, will have to pick a side. Then another one that I'm very excited for is The Fall of Waterstone by Lilith St. Croix. This is the sequel to A Flame in the North, and so the second one, I believe, in the Blacklands Bane trilogy. It follows an elemental witch and her shield maiden as they're navigating a dangerous world of forgotten myth and deep magic in a sweeping Norse-inspired epic fantasy series. And our main character is the elemental witch who was charged with keeping the fire for her village, but her brother accidentally, I think, killed someone from another tribe, and so she goes in his place to be outcast for like a year. And on their journey, things happen and they uncover some secrets. Her and her shield maiden, and I just really want to read it, and I haven't, and I really want to read it. Then we move into romance with Allie Hazelwood's return to STEM romance. This is Not in Love. Rue Seibert might not have it all, but she has enough. A few friends she can always count on, the financial stability she yearned for as a kid, and a successful career as a biotech engineer at Klein, one of the most promising startups in the field of food science. Her world is stable, pleasant, and hard-fought until a hostile takeover and its offensively attractive front man threatens to bring it all crumbling down. Eli Kilgore is and his business partners want Klein, period. Eli has his own reasons for pushing this deal through, and he's a man who gets what he wants. With one burning exception, Rue, the woman he can't stop thinking about, the woman who's off limits to him. Then we have The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center. Emma Wheeler desperately longs to be a screenwriter. She spent her life studying, obsessing over, and writing romantic comedies, good ones, that win contests. But she's also been the sole caretaker for her kind-hearted dad, who needs full-time care. Now, when she gets a chance to rewrite a script for a famous screenwriter, Charlie Yates, the Charlie Yates, her personal writing god, is a break too big to pass up. But Charlie Yates doesn't write with anyone, much less a failed nobody screenwriter. But Emma is not going down without a fight. She'll stand up for herself and for rom-coms and for love itself. Then in thrillers, our first one is the next installment in the Housemaid series. The Housemaid is Watching by Frida McFadden. It says suburbia can bring familiarity, comfort, but it can also be deadly, especially when you're running from a past you can't hide. It's unbelievably twisty, tension-packed, and can be enjoyed as a standalone. Interesting for a third book to say it can be a standalone. I guess each of them can stand on their own maybes. Next is Assassins Anonymous by Rob Hart. Step 1, admit you're a serial killer. Step 2, believe a power greater than yourself can help you stop killing people. Step 3, obsess over this new book. Mark was the most dangerous killer for hire in the world, but after learning the hard way that his life's work made him more monster than man, he left all of that behind and joined a 12-step group for reformed killers. When Mark is viciously attacked by an unknown assailant, he's forced on the run. From New York to Singapore to London, he chases after clues while dodging attacks and trying to solve the puzzle of who's after him, all without killing anyone or getting killed himself. For an assassin, Mark learns non-violence is a real hassle. And we end the week with a horror called Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. In June 1993, a group of young guerrilla filmmakers spent 4 weeks making a horror movie, a notorious, disturbing art house horror flick. The weird part? Only 3 of the film scenes were ever released to the public, but yet Horror Movie has nevertheless grown a rabid fan base. 3 decades later, Hollywood is pushing for a big budget reboot. And the man who played Thin Kid is the only surviving cast member. He remembers all too well the secrets buried with the original screenplay, the bizarre events of the filming, and the dangerous lines crossed that resulted in tragedy. As memories flood back in, the boundaries between reality and film, past and present, start to blur. But he's going to help remake the film, even if it means navigating a world of cynical producers, egomaniacal directors, and surreal fan conventions. Demons of the past be damned. Those are all the books on my list this week, but there are always tons coming out every week. So if there's one coming out that you know about and you're excited, let us all know in the comments down below. And just maybe you were able to find one on this list, you enjoyed it, and you'll subscribe to come back every week for more books, reviews, and things. I hope you're running something awesome to read today, and I'll see you in the next one.